Hey guys, it's me, Linda, the A-Lip housewife. Sorry it has been forever since I've posted. I can honestly say my motivation was lacking for a while. Also been kind of busy, had family in for a while, doing trips, and of course, getting into summer, so getting into mental summer mode, But anyway, so today I wanted to talk about communication, communication in relationships. I've been thinking about it a lot this week, noticing that my husband and I have really, really good communication, and I can honestly say it took a lot of work, and unfortunately the mail lady is about to come by, so my dogs are going to go off any minute unless they can sleep through it. Anyway, so my husband and I, we complement each other very well, but we definitely have way different opinion on things. And, we actually really don't argue. We don't get into fights really or anything because we've learned how to communicate. And the key to communication is listening. Now, what I mean by listening, I don't mean just staring at them and actually hearing the words. What I mean by listening is actually taking into context all the variables that are producing their opinion. That kind of sounded weird. What I mean by that is think about how their life experiences has formed their type of opinion. See what factors are really, how do I explain this? This is weird. Are really making them put the pieces together to form their opinion. So my husband and I, as I said, we're really different. And before we got engaged, we actually spent a lot of time working on our communication. At the time, we used a book. The book, I think it's called the 7%. And we actually sat down and went through this book together, and it forced us to sit down and really understand each other and how we communicate, because we both communicate very differently. I'm more emotional, really deep into the theory of love, whereas he's very logical, realistic. And so we both had to learn how to understand the other one. And just because he says certain things in a certain way and I think things in a completely different way doesn't mean that we're not saying the exact same thing, just in our own ways. So that took a while for us to learn, because I'm sensitive. But really, half the time what he was saying was really what I was saying too. It was just two different languages. So what I'm getting at is just to work on your communication and just understanding deep down where they're coming from. Not specifically what they're saying or how they're saying it, but understanding them, their life experiences, how they're raised, etc., that are making them communicate the way that they do. I just want to say I just had family visiting for 3 weeks. And, we're not used to having them around. We're not really it was my parents. We're not really like my parents, so it was definitely a strain for us, but we managed to get through it perfectly fine, because at night we were able to just communicate. And yeah, there are some tough spots, but, we just completely communicated what we were feeling, what we were thinking, and just kind of getting through. And yeah, we do not agree on a lot of things. I'll just make it clear. We do not agree. But we've gotten to the point where we can talk about it. And, I completely understand his opinion. I believe he understands my opinion. But it just has really made us a lot stronger. Everyone's going to have their fights and arguments. And for us, what has really helped us, because in the beginning, we get into a fight, and we would just separate. I'd go into the bedroom, he'd go on a bike ride, or whatever. And we'd just separate. And then it would just be just pushing it off. Whereas now it's more, we can start getting into a fight, take a minute breather, and then we actually sit down and discuss. And we each take our turns, really just trying to get our point across. Because a lot of times the way we say things can be misinterpreted because of the way that we say them, even though the meaning is actually the same, or whatnot. And I know a lot of couples that kind of deal with this issue. It's something happens, and it could be something very rare, that happens and you just don't even know how to communicate it properly. So that's kind of a big thing, and I really recommend, like, even the best, happiest couples just to kind of reevaluate, you know, your communication skills, because you never know what's going to happen in the future that's going to kind of trigger you, or, you know, you're unprepared for, and then you can't communicate because there's emotions and stress and whatnot. And you know, I brought this up to my husband the other day, and I had our book out. We actually had 2 copies of the book that we had. And, you know, I had it on the table. I was lending it out to a friend. And he's like, you know, maybe we should, you know, brush up on our skills, reevaluate. And it made me feel so good for him to say something like that. Because I know that, you know, this is very important for our functionality. I'm here alone a lot. He's my main person that I interact with. And we do have really different personalities, so we complement each other very well. But communication, like, I know everyone always says communication is the key. And up until my relationship with my husband, I don't think I really thought about how in-depth it is to being the foundations of a relationship. And now that, like, we've worked on it, it's the most amazing thing. Like, I can honestly say, like, yeah, we have our disagreements, but I wouldn't say that we'd fight. I mean, and we've been married for over 2 years. And, yeah, we have our disagreements, but we know how to, like, I don't want to say hash them out because that doesn't sound nice. But, you know, we work them out, and then we're fine. Like, there's no, you know, holding on to things or resentments or grudges, because we've got them all out on the table right then and there. And if you're with someone that, like, you can't put out your opinion or emotions or feelings or anything, then obviously there needs to be some work, or maybe they're not the right one, because you should be able to, when you're with your person, you should be able to completely lay bare. Yeah, that took a turn. You know, just be completely vulnerable with them, and then fully accept everything and anything that you do, say, whatever, because you can work it out, and hopefully they understand you and you understand them. But yeah, so that's kind of what I want to get out today, is just understanding a person, not just by what they say, how they say it, you know, how they do things, because really, like, we're all different. We all come from different places. We all have different personalities and opinions and way different ways of getting there. I mean, my husband's an engineer, and he's an engineer like 100% of the time. Like, I don't even know how he works. Like, it just... Whereas for me, he does not understand how I can just be fairy tale loving, just emotional, sentimental at all times. But yeah, anyway, so that's really what I wanted to get at today. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add on that topic. But yeah, I mean, everyone can always brush up on their communication skills at any time, because they're never going to be perfect. So yeah, even if you're in a great relationship, bad relationship, mediocre relationship, you know, maybe communication is what you need to brush up on right now. And I mean, and this works for friendships too, because, you know, you got those friends where you're like, you totally want to be honest, but you know that they're just gonna overreact, and then you just don't. But anyway, yeah, and I definitely got some family members that I wish I could communicate with, but they're more just like straight walls. You know, you're just like talking to a wall, and it's just like... But anyway, but yeah, as for relationships go, amazing. But yeah, I think that's all I have for today. I'm really gonna try to get into doing these more. But I just... Motivation, man. I know I did a video on motivation about getting into it, and I'm struggling to take my own advice. But yeah, alright, well, I'm gonna stop rambling and let y'all go off and hopefully have an awesome, great day doing whatever you're doing. Alright, bye!